Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So the other live stream just crashed. For some reason, YouTube just kicked completely out and said bye. Um, yeah, it just completely kicked me out. So we're having to start again from scratch. I'm I'm sorry about that. So what are you doing? Come here. He's gone absolutely bonkers. What are you doing? Oh, she's caught him and she's taking him off now. Let me try and catch up on these messages. So I just pray that after all this, people who panic bought do the right thing and donate what's left to local food banks. Just because you need a toilet paper, you don't have to break the in. I see, it's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. The little one's gone nuts. Yeah. Oh, they seem to get all. You know, they get this. They get all this energy whenever I go live. That's the time that they really perk up and they have to come on here and show the world how. Oh no! So he found the toilet roll stash. We've no more school over there for 6 weeks. My husband and I are already losing our minds. How many kids have you got? See, I sound like I'm going through puberty at the minute because my voice is going up and down. It's croaky and then it's all right and then it's um. But trust me, I've it's just I don't know if it's something right at the back of my throat. It's not a cold. I haven't got a temperature. I haven't got anything else. It's just this cough thing. We've two kids, but feels like 20. Two very active boys. I feel you. I feel you. See, mine are 7 and 9, and the baby's 2 and a bit. Yeah, they're a proper handful. So you got 6 week off school. Um, does that correlate with any normal school holidays? So what are you gonna do with trying to give them any fill in their education gaps while they're off school? Are you Have you got any plans? 'Cause I really need to. I'd really like to know that just in case. Come on.
Go to bed.
Okay. Come here.
I brush my teeth and everything.
Come here. Stop sulking.
I have to use a.
So I've got little Miss Sulky here, haven't I?
You're Mr. Grumpy.
I'm Mr. Grumpy. What did I say? I said go and finish your food.
And
'Cause
push.
Okay,
Mega push.
sit down.
Mega
Ow,
push.
ow! Don't push me. So the allergies right now are terrible. So no more said on this COVID crap from me. We got enough swine. We got through swine flu and Ebola, so I'm sure we get.
Mr.
See,
Grumpy.
Sam, I did get swine flu. Um, when the swine flu virus was going around, my sister and myself we got swine flu at the same time, and we were sat in our living room.
Who? Which
And
one?
yeah, Fufu was in Australia.
For
So
Helen.
yeah, so we were sat in our living room, and she was crying. My sister was crying for a glass of water, and neither of us had the strength to walk from our living room to the kitchen to get a glass of water. That's how bad we were. So it was swine flu was nasty. It was nasty. Worst flu I've ever had. My son's uni got closed. What? How did you just be careful, kiddo?
I'm not doing anything. I'm
So
only looking.
my son, where's
Where?
that comment gone? My son's uni's closed. School's closed, but school's not shut down south. They're not shut up here either. I don't think they are planning on shutting anytime soon. I think this Bojo's planning on getting at least 60% of the country infected before he actually decides to do anything. They're all calling you Miss Sulky.
No, I think Yusuf has a Mr. Men book called Mr. Nosy
Mr. Nosy.
because he has a long nose
Uh,
and he's really nosy.
I think my
And
mum got swine flu. It's pretty bad. We got influenza 2 years ago, and I thought it's
what's
absolutely
swine
horrible.
flu?
It's a type of flu that was going around a few years ago.
Yes.
They've been shutting schools north of us in Aberdeen. See, I think in Scotland, didn't they ban gatherings of more than 500 people? I like how I like how sparkling your head is. Look, is it all the stuff on your head?
And they have loads at the back.
She's got loads at the back.
And I have
Yeah.
another
Ow! You
scarf like
break it.
that.
That's my foot you're standing on.
And I'll go get my favourite one.
So, yeah, I was looking at planting my peas today, but I saved loads of peas. Do you know, loads of dry peas from my plants. And I do that every year, but I've lost where they are. I can't find any of my peas, so I'm a
Because we
bit
picked
gutted.
them all.
Yeah, no, we saved some for planting, um, and I'm gutted because I can't find any of my seeds. So we've
This
got
one's my favourite.
that's your favourite. So it seems to be quite sensible up here for the time being.
I have a marble.
I'm usually teaching chicken classes and doing seminars, but they've been cancelled. I'm planting my.
Chicken classes?
Yeah, she teaches people how to look after chickens.
Oh, I thought it meant teaching. You know, like they have dog training.
No,
I thought it meant like that. You have to teach them how to sit and walk
you
and
teach the
stay.
chickens how to sit and walk.
And then they only know how to walk, sit, lie down, roll over.
I'm planting my peas for shoots outside this coming
Ow!
week.
There's 16.
You're well ahead with your peas then, because I haven't even planted mine. I kept on saying I'm gonna do it, and then I went to do it today, and there's no peas. They're all saying how lovely your scarf is, so pretty lovely scarf.
Where?
I put peas in hanging baskets. That's not a bad idea. But did you let them
Where did
drop
you
down?
find that emoji?
Which emoji?
This one. I've never saw something like
Oh,
that.
paisley sparkles. That'd be so fun to teach the actual chickens. Oh, you'd have a great time. I can imagine you'd have an absolutely amazing time.
And they'll need a litter box. Like a cat, like a kitten.
Like a kitten.
They'll need a little box as well.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be listening.
Chickalandia.
Sold mine back at the end of February.
Welcome
Peas
to
for pods getting sold
Chickalandia.
next week.
My peas
I
like
need to go and
this.
get some peas now
Ow.
so I can get them planted.
Mr. Green Thumb.
Mrs. Green Thumb.
Mrs.
Yeah.
G? Why? Was it?
Go
Is
and
it
speak
Sonic
to
the Hedgehog?
You don't scream down the stairs. Go on.
Is it Sonic the Hedgehog?
She's absolutely brilliant. Except when she sulks. When she sulks, she just doesn't talk, and you can't get a word out of her. Because if it wasn't for the live stream, she'd have just, you know, when she came in and said I'm going to bed, she would have just laid in bed and just gone quiet. So she sulks quite a bit, but otherwise she's all right. um. So I love it, Sonic the Hedgehog. So Tony put his first early TPs out earlier. Okay. So do you grow them up ready-made TPs, or do you make them yourself? So I'm officially finished with chickens. Gave them to my mate. How comes you've given your chickens away, Bri? So I've got two girls. Sulking is my norm. Why do they sulk? See, if my son sulks, I can snap him out of it very quickly. But when this one sulks, she just, yeah, you just get so mardy, don't you? You got him some grapes.
I'm gonna put these in your face.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you staying? Okay.
Sheep wolves. What are sheep wolves? That's the movie by us watching.
Oops. I've lost the chat. So I've two girls looking. Okay, I did some in February and another March in March and another lot this week. So are your piece quite up and ready to go out then?
Where?
So Brian, you can't handle your chickens.
Chickens.
Um,
I was holding a chicken. I don't even know how to.
what are you doing?
I don't know.
Okay, stop that.
My dad grabbed one just with one hand and then picked it
So
out.
it's not looking good for a new knee. Why? What's going on?
No, not my life.
What's going on, Brian?
Chickens are alive.
So no, Kelly, not at all. You're fine. Good morning. Carter's eats here. Look at that. Look at that.
Can I just go downstairs and enjoy the life of my son?
Look, it's Carter's eat.
Who's that?
You know who Carter's eat is. Welcome to life. How are you doing, Lucy?
Write that whole song down.
Thank you. You should have learnt that song by now. Thank you very much for coming in. How are you doing? Spirit in the Sky, Blue is here. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming
Blue?
in. Nick.
Kelly.
See, Nick's
Kelly's here.
Nick's here.
Kelly's back here. I'm trying to itch my leg.
Your hand. You can't straighten your leg. Oh, Brian, that must be horrible.
What?
Are you in a lot of pain at the minute? Tony will see you when you're back. You're in a lot of pain. So I can honestly felt so relaxed and chilled.
Who's this?
Just 1 second.
It's 18
Have you been?
people.
What's been going on, Sammy? You've been
I'm
quite stressed. What's been stressing you out? Frank Colwell's here. Frank, how are you doing,
I already
mate?
knew he was here before you.
You knew he was already here? How did you know he was already here?
Because I saw him before you.
Okay. So, Frank, she knew you were here. As long as I can transfer from scooter to seat.
Salams. Who's that? Salams.
Where? Ismail Karoli is here. Assalamu alaikum.
Who's that? Your friend?
Yeah.
I
have to go finish editing, but I wanted to stop in and say hello since it's been forever.
Where?
You take care. Have fun editing your video, and we'll see you. And we'll see
Which
you
video?
Soon.
Wee.
Okay. Can you just sit up a second? Because I can't be rocking you, mate. Come on.
Welcome.
So Spirit in the Sky's name is
Kelly hasn't
Julie.
been here for a long time.
Julie, thank you for.
Hang
on, slow down.
Isn't very relaxing. Can I bite your beard? Off.
No, you can't.
I'm gonna put it off.
No, you. Ow. So I.
That's a mean. He's a lion.
What do you do with that? What do you do with that? I don't know what you do with that. You little nutter, come on.
Is that the side over here?
What are you doing?
Mean over here.
Oh, okay.
Who's Mike Hobbies?
Mike's Hobbies. He's got another channel called Mike's Garden, or Mike's Greenhouse.
I'm gonna eat the wall.
So gardening is still good to help me relax. Are you managing to get to the plot much? And you're still ahead with your plants. So yeah, look, Kelly's saying be good to Dad. Stop being so mardy as well.
Why?
Because I don't like it when you're mardy.
Why?
And don't start that again. Well, don't stress me out on
I'm
it.
coming.
Okay. You okay? You okay?
This getting a cupcake.
Okay. Well, can you just decide on what you're doing?
Cupcake.
Okay. It's not. It's not a real one.
Yeah, it is.
So, what? Don't stress me out on day-to-day basis. I'll start a new medication today.
I'll take the icing off and put it on a
Is that
plate.
medication to help with stress, Sam?
I'll go take the
Ah, okay.
icing off right away.
Mike's. Khadi, can I have a cup of tea? Can you ask if I can have a cup of tea, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Biscuits.
No, I just want a cup of tea.
What are these for? These for food.
No, they're for your mum's wardrobe. Okay. So not getting to the plot. Not getting to the plot too much. But more than I did. Have you still got some help down at the plot, Brian? I know how that feels. Gardening is so therapeutic. Kelly, I second you on that. I can't wait for the weekend just so I can get out. Just so I can get a few hours. So I can get out from sitting inside a building all day. So I'm sat inside all day and I'm sat inside all evening. And you just want that time where you can just get outside. Oh, have you escaped again? You've escaped again?
Yeah. I'll be there. Get it done. And get it, mommy. Auntie.
He's just come darting up the stairs, right? He's just come darting up the stairs, run into the room and shut the door as hard as he could behind him. And he's laughing all the way up. My wife's fucking chasing him. Little
I've
monkey.
got washing up to do, Ma.
Oh,
Alright, leave him. You can leave him.
I'm good.
I'm good. That's not I'm good. You said you want tea?
Yeah. Go
No.
yeah. My throat's
I'm
hurting.
a grapes.
I'm good.
So sorry to hear about.
Angle. I'm an angle.
Yeah, there's loads here.
What is angle?
You have this one.
I don't have this one.
But you've dropped it on the floor. You can't have that one.
I have this.
Sorry to hear about your stress. It's truly debilitating. All my thoughts and prayers for you. I hope your new medicine works for you. Yeah. Why are you picking the one up from the floor?
I can pick it.
Okay, come on. There you go. Get it. So he don't want the grape out of the bowl. He wants the one that he's dropped on the floor, and now he's decided to move everything around. So, okay. So I've trouble.
It's up on the floor.
Okay, you dropped it on the floor. I know you did. Leave that one on the floor. You got a bowl full there.
The ball fall there.
So I was on plot at 6 a.m. this morning. The light is getting better. You're a very early bird. It's too cold for me at that time in the morning. Kilted Gardener's here. Can't stay long, but wanted to say hi at least. Thank you very much for stopping in and saying hello. So Gardener's helped me massively over the years, but it's just not enough. See, Sophia's laughing at you saying "Angut, Angut." See, he's help on the plot is okay, but it's still like having the wife there telling me what I can and can't do. Brian, is your knee causing? Is your knee causing you a lot of pain? Mike, sorry, can't. I'm sorry if I've asked that question a couple of times, but these kids aren't letting me. These kids aren't letting me read the responses. Now he's trying to do a balancing act. You're not standing up on there. No, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. You got. Okay, just sit here with me. Look. Give me a cuddle. Come here, give me a cuddle. Give your old dad a cuddle. So I had terrible PND. What's I'll get after the birth. Oh, okay. I know what PND is. It took many courses of medication until it helped. It's not nice trying to feel normal when everything seems so dark. See, those kind of things. I see. Sophia had PND and found that the medicine didn't work. How do, how does that affect you? Because I don't know much about it. Um, so Ray's another one who goes to the plot to get away from the wife. Sorry to hear that, Brian. I know it sounds daft, but you get used to it. Brian, and that doesn't sound daft. Because I live in pain, Brian, and you get used to it. And it's almost like your normal is you're operating at a level of normal when you're in a certain level of pain. And if you go below that or go beyond that, that's when it seems you're not normal again anymore. What's so funny? I'm not kicking you at all. Get a tissue. He just accused me of kicking him. Oh no, leave that. Come on, get a tissue and wipe your face. Come here, good lad. Come on. And I wasn't kicking you. You sat up. You stood on my leg. How could I kick you? So the only thing that helped was support from my family. No, you're not getting up there. So can you just look? You're distracting everyone. Or do you just want to take over and me to disappear? He's not scared of any. He's not scared of anything at all. You know, just sit. No. Can't remember the last time I slept under the covers. Julie, he's absolutely nutty. He's absolutely bonkers. He's absolutely bonkers. He's not. He's gonna start jumping in a second, and he's jumping on me, shouting, ow, ow. So I don't know why it keeps buffering. We seem to keep breaking up. Zaki, I've got a hot cup of tea next to my computer now, mate. How'd you cope with this? It's absolutely bonkers. Can you stop it? You know better. No, you know better than that. I want that energy, Julie. I want that energy as well. It wears me out. So my YouTube apps. There's a problem with my YouTube app. It's just crashed again, and I've had to start, but it's at least carry on with the same live stream. So I don't know what's going on tonight. Ow! Sam, I hope that new medication really makes a difference, mate. I hope it does make a difference. Right, I can feel my voice going again now. Oof! Ow! Look! He just banged his head. Ow! I know. I heard that bang. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, bangy gissy. Bangy gissy. I don't know I don't know what's going on, Kelly. I've just got this. What are you doing? I'm putting a plant. Thanks, Kelly. I don't know what's going on. It's just a tickly throat. I don't get it. I'm straightening my leg while I'm in bed. Personal physio. Painful, but I hope it works in the long run. Refuse to give up. You can't give up, Brian. You can't give up. You've got to keep fighting. Whatever happens, you've got to keep fighting.
Fighting!
And I know you. Do you know that? That's where that stubborn. Do you know? That's where that stubborn. Do you know?
You said you got to keep fighting.
No, not this kind of fight. Not this kind of fighting. You just threw that. You threw your mum's scarf in my tea.
Whoopsie. Nah! Ooh, it's actually wrong.
Ow! Come on.
Let's go.
Get down.
Let's go.
Stop it. I don't know what's wrong with them today. They've gone absolutely. They're even more hyper than normal. See, that's what I was talking about. It sounds like a. Ow! Brian, don't feel like a fool. You've got to keep going. Because you know it's where that.
He's jumping.
Can you stop it?
I'm not doing anything.
Look,
You're jumping.
Look, just stop it.
Oh, can I try this on your head?
No, you can't stop it. Sometimes, every time I sit in my greenhouse and have a break, or even when I'm doing things, my mind is running everywhere and not good places. But today, nothing but peace up there. Sam, that's really good to hear, mate. That's
I'm giving
really
you a
good to
silver
hear.
shiny background.
Okay, can you just sit down?
But you got a shiny background. Shiny background.
They're absolutely mental today. It's like a level of energy that's just beyond normal.
Silver background. Silver
So
background.
is that my silver lining?
Yeah. Silver background. Background. Becky, can you hold the other end?
Brian, you're not a fool, mate. You give us so. Everyone who's watching you is learning a lot from you. They're learning a lot from you, and they're getting a lot of courage from you as well.
Go forward.
Because
Go
it
back.
takes a lot of guts to do what you're doing.
Lift it up. Cousin's here. Hey. Huh? Yay! Yay! He's just copying me.
Ow!
After one more
So,
hit. Yeah.
Ow! Stop it.
Aw,
You nearly got
Piper!
No, that's gonna hurt my back. Get up. No, that's gonna hurt my back.
Piper!
I know you shouldn't be hyper. Go and see your cousin. They're
Piper!
here.
Come on, Zachy!
I'm still waiting for a
Come on, let's go see Alpha! Let's go see
Brian,
Lemmy.
I've only got you on like a
Lemmy.
on a priority
We're gonna
list.
go see Lemmy's. We're gonna go see Leanne.
Okay, leave him. You just disappear. Leave him. What have you been feeding? Sophia, I don't know what's going on with them. They had a nice normal dinner. We had mash, and we had kebabs, and we had and a bit of veg, and they've gone nutty, absolutely nutty. So if your top priority, have they just not got the properties? It's absolute bonkers. They're coming back. Look, I've got a cup of tea here next to my computer. If you knock it over, you know what's going to happen. It's going to spill on my cup. What are you doing? Oh, it's bonkers.
It's literally bedtime to go sleep.
You put your magic mushrooms in their mash.
Background.
Saying that, Brian, I was planting some mushrooms today. I've got some mushrooms growing in my house. So what I did was, you know.
And the mushroom was growing.
So you know that I grow a lot of. I do everything in wood chips. So what I've done is I've decided to add in a second crop into my wood chips. So we
You put the house
we
mushrooms
mu-
into the pot.
no. So I mulched an area behind my greenhouse where it doesn't get much sun, and I've planted some king strafari they're called, Rigata angulosa. Um,
That's a brilliant name.
yeah, or otherwise known as wine caps. They're like a mushroom with a burgundy top. Absolutely lovely looking mushroom. So we were out inoculating the beds with mushroom spores today. Look, how many times have I warned you about getting your stuff in my tea? Um, so that's one of the mushrooms that I've grown, and another mushroom
I'm
that
going downstairs to play a game.
I'm growing some oyster mushrooms in some sawdust on in the attic at the minute as well. So as rheumatoid arthritis sufferer, to I've said from day one of diagnosis, you have two choices: either you control it or let it control you, and I choose to control it. It ain't getting the better of me, no chance. Um, Sam, I see. I live in pain. I live in pain as well. So I know what you're saying there, mate. You, that's where that stubborn nature comes in. If you've got that stubborn personality nature, it, that's one of the times it comes in really helpful because you just don't. Yeah, but do you know like I sometimes say it's that stubborn character in me that stops me from giving up. So wine caps, I'd rather have the bottle. Check them out, Brian. They're really lovely. They're really lovely looking mushrooms. Absolutely lovely. So we've got them. Hopefully, this spring they might give us some mushroom, and if not next next winter, next autumn. Sorry. So don't eat tomatoes. Don't eat tomatoes. A tomatoes bad for arthritis. So allotment life never. If you ever need a rant, inbox me. I'm on Insta, Facebook anytime. Julie says Sam, I have osteo and I can't read that word. Arthritis and pain and limitations can be depressing for me. I'm sorry to hear that, Julie. That's horrible. I'd love to be confident enough to forage for mushrooms. Kelly, I started learning. There's a few that you can start with. I mean, even if you're not going for, foraging for edible ones, and you're just going out and looking for, start find. My tip to learn how to forage edit mushrooms is find the mushroom that you want to hunt or that you want to go looking for, and then find all the ones that are its poisonous lookalikes, and learn how to tell the difference between what's edible and what's not edible in what looks the same. So, like, do you know the normal button mushrooms that we buy from the shops? You can buy that. You can get them, and most of those mushrooms are edible. But the ones that aren't edible, and the ones that, and these are actually the ones that are responsible for the most um, upset tummies and gastro problems when people find mushrooms, and they're called yellow stainers. And the reason that they're called yellow stainers is that when you bruise them or cut them, they bruise yellow, and they're a bit more boxy shape rather than the round shape. And another little trick with those ones is you can do the microwave test. So you can just take a bit of mushroom, put it in the microwave for 20 seconds, and if it's a poisonous one that's gonna give you upset stomach, um, just zap it for 20 seconds, and it'll bleed yellow, and it'll smell like a chemically smell. See, I found some mushrooms, really lovely looking mushrooms. So I brought a load home. Right, they didn't bruise yellow when I found them, but when I got them home and I checked them, and um, and when I checked them, the smell was so strong. It just smelled like uh, I don't know. It smelled like terpsy type of smell. So I have a book, but goodies and the baddies look so alike. But you're right. They do have different bruising characteristics, etc. Still scares the living daylights out of me. If you're ever down this way, we can go foraging together, and let's go see if we can find some mushrooms. If you ever make it down this way, uh, see, um, I went through the local woods near where I live. Um, there's little woods between my house and where I work. Um, we can walk. Well, it can take me about 5-10 minutes to walk from my house to work, and it's through this set of woods, and that's what I was about to say, Julie. I went looking for morels, um, but I know it's a little bit early, but morel season's coming, and I'm getting excited because this time last year I was I'm still a very much a novice when it comes to hunting mushrooms, but I've learned to positively identify probably 5 or 6 common edibles. So I can there's some quite common edibles that I can identify, and I even ate my first forage mushroom last year, autumn last year, and I did a video on them. If you look for a video that I've done called cooking bluets, so I found some wood bluets, brought them home, cooked them. I've pan fried them with peppers, onions, then made like a grilled cheese sandwich with these mushrooms. Oh, it was delicious, absolutely brilliant. It's making me hungry just talking about it. Um, so I have a book with all the goodies and baddies. It's my family photo album. Drop's Family Gardens here. Drop, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're well, man. Um, yeah, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming. I know morels by heart, so we have a morel festival here. They cook in them many ways. Uh, just some of the simplest ways of cooking mushrooms is just the best. You know, bit of garlic, bit of butter, and if you fancy it, a bit of onions and peppers. You can't go wrong with that. When it comes to food and arthritis, it's hard to say certain foods are bad for every individual. It's different. There's two patients of this. Excuse me. Never two patients are the same. Oh, that was bad. Drop. I found some of those experience mushrooms in my garden. We get some growing, so it should be season coming up soon. Got peace and quiet here tonight. Wife and daughter gone to a gig. That's nice for you. See, as you can tell, my house is absolutely packed to the rafters. My nieces have just come over as well, so I've got to go and say hello to them very shortly. But my voice is starting to go now. I hope this thing gets better anytime. Have you got have you guys got plans for what you'd do if they did close the schools? What would you do about because there's a couple of programs that our school gives us subscriptions to. So one's called Mathletics. Um, I have a few punnets of chestnut and king oysters in the fridge. I know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow. Hope you feel better soon, Monty. I'm gonna head off. Have a great week, Kelly. You have a great weekend. And a great week as well. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Um, I think I'm gonna call it a night as well. My voice is getting a bit croaky now, and so I'm gonna call it a night as well. Um, so lessons are gonna be handed out over app. See, I don't know what they're gonna do with it in terms of apps and stuff because we're not on any apps. There's a couple of programs, you know, Mathletics, and there's another one called Reading Eggs. But apart from that, I don't know what else that if they give me just sort of what do you like a um, especially with the maths, if they just gave me a lesson outline of what they need to teach, I'm quite comfortable with the maths, but I don't know what they're going to teach with the English and everything. Can't really afford to close schools down. Some parents can't afford it. Brian, I think you know this virus is going to make more people. The worst effect this virus is going to have is it's going to make a lot of people bankrupt. because people just can't get to work. I think people will end up losing their homes. Um, I think that's gonna be the biggest outcome of this virus, or the worst outcome of this virus. Um, Julie, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. If you're on Facebook, we've got a group called My Family Garden #Team Spanner. Come in there. Most of the guys on here are there, and they'll all have a bit of a yeah. They all like a bit of a banter in there as well. So my wife is teaching assistant, so we'll be off if my son's school closes. Um, so Nick, if your wife's off work, see this is what I'm this. Like a lot of people who when husband and wife work, right? You depend on that second income.
Hi.
That's gonna make things so hard when one of you. What did you just do? Okay, so daughter just decided to come into the room with a blindfold on, and she's just walked straight face first into. She's made a tooth bleed. I'm gonna call it a day here, so I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.